Does definitely go well with the Faceless Void, though.
Choose your hero. They want to go for the Queen of Pain. Now, I had to agree with you there. I thought the Zeus would be a very easy pickup for Eclipse, especially because you've got the catch and the Chrono, but they need the Thunder God's Wrath and the Nimbus to scout out where the Tinker's going to be in the tree line. Rather, they go for the Queen of Pain, and perhaps they're just going to try and make sure this Tinker's shut down during the laning stage, but Stinky, I've seen this over and over again these past couple days. We've seen at least 4 other Tinkers. And every single time they struggle with trying to find it because there's nobody there to scout it out. Like, I don't understand why they went for this Queen of Pain instead.
And, you know, Zeus definitely has his weaknesses, but a lot of the weaknesses that apply to Zeus also apply to the Quap. You know, it's not the greatest of matchups against the Silencer. You're so dependent on using your spells, both defensively and offensively. And you've got 2 abilities which are uncontrollable AoE damage, so it's really easy for the next to get the Reflect with that Spike Carapace onto you, not to mention he's got that Mana Burn, which is probably one of the hardest counters into heroes in general, so I'm really questioning this Queen pick here, but I guess they're, like you say, they're really just playing for that lane.
See what happens. Eclipse. I mean, they certainly have the kite ability. You know, you've still got that Sakuchi, the Time Walk, and the Blink now on all your cores. So they are very hard to catch out. Like, we must point that out. But still, it's a matter of, can you finish this game if you never catch the Tinker? You're going to continually spam March. You're trying to make a push. Like, it's not going to be easy. But let's see how this turns. We can't make any predictions this early on. It's just the drafting phase.
Yeah, kind of want to point out that Tinker can Boots of Travel onto the summons from the Lycan, but at the same time, that's not the biggest of deals. Could be...
Can make a difference.
Yeah, it can make a difference. Could see some sneaky setup on an Invisible Wolf or something. Potentially with a Nyx Assassin in the mix too, so... There is some surprise cheese potential, I guess.
Keep an eye out for XM, see what he does choose to... EU. Gonna have to try very, very hard to shut this Tinker down. There was one game, and I can't remember who was playing that Tinker, but they did manage to shut the Tinker down. Only problem was, the game kept going on, and the Tinker, well, he caught up. It's like, what can I say? He caught up, and then he just didn't allow them to push up the high ground.
30 seconds to battle.
Yeah, pretty obnoxious hero. God, one of the most annoying heroes to play against in pubs, that's for sure. And you can't really get that coordinated gank onto him. Looks like we're not going to have anything too crazy for these lanes. Pretty standard so far, although they are keeping 2 supports top, so looks like they might want to run a tri-lane here.
Remember to have fun.
Shaker. Nice impale onto 2 heroes, takes the bounty rune for himself. So Yagimi will be able to get the bot one anyway. So it is a 2-for-2 trade on those bounties. They had to try a lot harder on the side of CDEC though to get the secondary one. Yeah, there are 2 supports. I mean, in fact, no, never mind. The Silencer TP is back bot. So 1, 2, 3 and Shaker, they're going to dual lane. There will be no tri-lane. This is up against Shining on that Faceless Void. I guess it's a much better matchup than having to go up against that Weaver if you're the Ursa. So
yeah, for sure.
CDEC get what they want.
This is definitely the matchup that they wanted.
They could go for a lane swap right now, though, if you're on the side of Eclipse. But I guess the thing is then you're going to get the immediate lane swap out of CDEC as well, right after that.
Yeah, generally speaking, it's not worth lane swapping unless you have that TP advantage.
Wasted time doing it. Mid lane, I'm having a look here at EU. Providing some nice harassment to XM, but well, actually they're kind of both the same HP right now. That laser, of course, blinding the Queen of Pain, so she can't really take advantage of that slow, the Shadow Strike. XM.
Looks like the early start of the laning phase.
See how much farm this Tinker can actually get. Oh, top lane. Shaker. 3-point was the neutrals. Perfectly fine. Who actually draws Shining out to try and make a chase onto him. Well, 1, 2, 3 to just pretty much free farm the top lane for a bit. It certainly does feel like a very nice start for CDEC. Shaker as well on that Nyx Assassin. Picks up a haste rune. Looks like he thought about going mid, but you know, level 1 EU wasn't a nice position anyway, so there was no way that anything was going to happen there. We'll turn back up to that top lane. Try to deal a bit of harassment. It is, but then again, it is a Nyx Assassin, right? How much damage can you do while right click?
Yeah, pretty much all you have going for you as a Nyx is that extremely high regen, so you just trade regen with enemy laners.
Look to get a bit aggressive. There is a nice wave pushing into that tier 1. He wants to go after YYH though, because he has no time work on the Lich, obviously. So YYH, a nice little juke through the traps, now gets back out of him. They will actually rotate in the Bane though. A nice double impale coming out from Shaker. Not able to find anything that with the overpower Fury swipes.
Yeah. Interesting change in the build compared to before the Earthshock nerf. He's gone from 0, 1, 2, whereas before we generally saw Ursus maxing out the Earthshock there.
Yeah, but it got nerfed so hard. Like, it just feels so pointless now. Shining. What a lucky time lock. Impale completely misses. Good old 15% on the Void. In fact, he's going to keep chasing. They've got help here in Aroa as well at that Bane. Now the Nightmare comes out, Shining, thinks about turning around, and they'll find the first blood anyway. Aroa with that last hit. Now Shaker trying to find a bit of return damage onto YYH. Spy Carapace, Impale comes in, but he hasn't got the follow-up damage. Just back off for a bit. He returns back to the lane, but not going to be feeling too happy about that death he just had. Meanwhile, Yagimi ends up finding Rai at that bot lane. And what's 666?
Yeah, that's in reference to the chat line. That's pretty PM actually. That was just a straight up solo kill. Really nothing fancy coming in. Silencer did try to deny himself the creeps, but it wasn't successful.
Wait, what chat line are we talking about, sorry?
It's a Chinese chat line, I can't quite remember it.
Oh, I remember the chat line, I just have no idea what it means.
Yeah, I mean, it's Chinese, so it makes sense that these Chinese teams would make extra reference to that.
Feels like you should know what it means, though.
I really should, but my Chinese isn't that great.
EU actually falling very low on that mid lane of the Queen of Pain, though. She will have nice timing. Go get that 5-minute shrine.
We really haven't talked about this, but he is having an absolutely terrible laning phase. 10 and 5 compared to 28 and 15. And this is, they picked the Queen of Pain into the Tinker.
That is pretty abysmal. I mean, yeah, well, they're going to try and shut him down now with Aroa. The setup is there, now YYH, and a pause comes out. I guess, in actuality, this kind of helps the Radiant rotate over anyway. But still, I have to agree, 29 last hits, 15 denies on XM on that Tinker. 10 last hits, 5 denies on EU. That is really abysmal. And it goes back to what you said as well. They picked this Queen of Pain specifically to catch this Tinker in the lane. But it works against them.
And that's just one of those straight events where you're like, you just get outcast, I guess, in the laning phase. We'll see how this kind of goes.
They do say go. The rotation is there from the Nyx Assassin, though we do have to wait for the TP, and they won't even bother.
Wow.
And now that's support's time's wasted. Rotate back up to that top lane where 1, 2, 3 is trying to get some damage out into Shining. But this just means XM. He's just going to TP back to Fountain, rearm that TP, come back in, full HP mana.
And we did mention this during the draft. The Bane, the Lich, yeah, got some potential there, but it's not exactly those aggressive roamer type heroes.
Well, they're trying to go into 1-2-3 instead now at top lane. Should be an easy pick-off, it seems. He's pretty much trapped. He may turn around trying to go for YYH, but he will not find the kill. So again, a secondary pick-off onto 1-2-3 on this Ursa. But that really doesn't seem to be the main source of concern for the side of CDEC right now. Like, their Tinker's still free farming. Like, Ursa, I don't think he's going to mind too much. And it does look like Flyby is having a pretty good time at bot lane. He is top of the last hits board right now after all.
He's almost got his full Helm Dominator completed, actually.
Problematic. So, Shaker does end up going down at top lane, so that is your position for Nyx going down. Free, be there. Use farming on this Ursa. Looks like again, Iroha is there. They want to try again to take down 1-2-3. The thing is, like, it's great that they're putting so much influence on shutting down one of the cores of CDEC, but CDEC, I should just say, but it still doesn't eliminate the real, you know, public enemy number one, which is in the mid lane right now, just basically farming.
Yeah. He's got the greedy build as well, which is the soul ring before the BOTs, just maxing out the punch.
Shaker again top lane. Apparently ends up finding. Shaker ends up dying at the top lane to YYH. Right now, like Eclipse, they're leading in kill the kill board, but in terms of net worth, it still remains under that 1k mark. You look at that net worth as well. Lycan on top, closely followed by the Void. In terms of net worth, Tinker only around that 2.6k mark, so not overly, you know, overly killing it, but still, you look at the Queen of Pain in comparison, she's 700 gold behind.
And you expect the Lich lane to do fairly well. It's Lich, after all. At the same time, Lich is somewhat full off later on.
They are having a go now onto 1-2-3 again. Ooh, enrage and get out of there. In fact, ooh, almost ends up dropping, and they commit the chrono for it. Why the hell not? You've got the chrono up, you just got to put it on cooldown, get the Ursa kill. I think that's absolutely fair enough.
Yep. Something that a lot of people are afraid of doing, actually committing the chrono, but if it's sitting around and you're not going to go for a teamfight anytime soon, you might as well use it.
Yeah. Funnily enough, XM, although he had a great time in the mid lane as that Tinker, he's actually backed out into the jungle. He's been farming that for the past minute or two. And he's left Rai in that mid lane as a silencer, so Sogex being get gold for himself. So although Rai is still pretty darn behind in net worth, in terms of levels, he is going to hit that level 6 mark relatively soon. So they'll have that global silence up and ready to go.
Both the sports on Eclipse, sorry, on CDEC, they do need their levels. And yeah,
but then again, you look at Eclipse, I mean, Lich is already level 6. Bane is the one suffering. Iroha on level 3, but he'll be alright with that.
Oh. Lich doing Lich things.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Flyby. Man that's kind of gone under the radar a bit this game. Starting to follow up Ancient Crypts. He's got that full Helm of Dominant. Now goes into that Lycan Wolf form. He wants to make a chase onto this Queen of Pain, and he does have the Ensnare available with that Dark Troll Summoner. He just needs to get it, and in fact, he goes after Iroha instead. Interesting choice to make. He will be able to find this Bane, and now the Queen of Pain blinks back in, goes on to Rai, but he has no blink left now. EU, I don't know if that was a good trade. He does Fairy Fire, Blink's still a while away. The rocket's coming in, the Arcane Curse is still there, and the Laser gets the kill. Was it worth going in for that silencer?
I really don't think so. Good awareness from Flyby, going for the kill onto the support rather than chasing after a Queen of who did have the blink out option. Instead, ended up blinking in and gets punished for it. And nice micro by Flyby as well, splitting away from the Dark Summoner so the Lich ult bounced around.
Invisibility.
Top lane. Shaker has been being chased for the past maybe 30 seconds. Shining won't leave him alone. This is a lot of time wasted though, to be fair. He literally chased him for at least one creep wave worth. Shining, he'll return back to the lane. He's almost top of the net worth anyway, but still some decent time wasted by Shaker.
At the very least, they didn't blow the chrono onto him like last time.
Yeah. Now mid lane. Flyby doing the Lycan things, pushing very fast. Sonic Wave committed to clear the creep wave. Guess that's absolutely fine this early on. You just can't really afford to lose that tier 1 mid tower that early. See that they'll just get straight back to farming on this Lycan. They don't really seem phased by it whatsoever. And look at the west side of the map. XM, he continues to farm as well on the jungle. So in fact, he's got his Boots to Travels recipe. It's the gold for it. And now things start getting really annoying.
I really like the way they're distributing resources. They open up a lane for supports, they make full use of the jungle, and, you know, all of a sudden you've got a level 6 Silencer and a level 6 Nyx.
You go straight into that vendetta form as well. You did scout out the supports of Eclipse standing there waiting. Shaker actually going to move into that mid lane, where again, Flyby is trying to make a bit of a push here, and nobody's going to be there to defend. Meanwhile, Shaker knows exactly where EU is, but he's under the Sentry Ward and he doesn't know this yet. EU will cop the Vendetta Strike. Rockets coming in as well. The tier 1 tower ends up going down. Thingy, that is a very fast tier 1 tower as well. That let the
and this is an even faster Roshan attempt with the DD on the Ursa.
Oh my. CDEC really taking over this game. They are going to go on Iroha as well, so they're finding kills while they're taking this Roshan. Chrono is there onto 2 heroes. Swarm comes in from the Weaver, but there's no damage on Shining. Now the Wolf Form comes in and Flyby. The Impale actually connects on the Void. He's going to end up going down with that Global Silence. If you have the Chain Frost there, that's probably only going to help the side of CDEC, honestly. Flyby goes back in. Yagami still waiting. EU is there with the blink as well, but this is pretty dangerous. They've still got that in the snare creep. Now it's gone. Right is scouting. Yagami, he actually snags it. He takes it off him, although he will end up losing it immediately. And now 1, 2, 3 ends up going down. Flyby, he's trapped in the pit. This is a fantastic play coming out from Eclipse. No, Shaker, he gets the impale, but they've already lost that Lycan. Now the Tinker trying to help out him, but they've got that Fiend's Grip on Shaker, and they'll be able to take down the 3rd hero on the side of CDEC. A very nice play indeed from the side of Eclipse. And it looks like CDEC, they get a bit too excited. They give a Roshan and Aegis away.
It all comes down to that Aegis. I'm surprised it went nearly as well for Eclipse as it did. They blew the Chrono, they didn't have the Sonic Wave, but just from that one Aegis steal, they basically salvaged that teamfight and pretty much salvaged their early game as well, because if that Aegis went to CDEC, it would have been pretty bad, I think, because, you know, they've got pretty much all they need on their Lycan to start pushing, and yeah, that would be a lot of pressure on their tier 1 towers, but thanks to that, Eclipse, they keep control of this game.
God only could imagine what would have happened though had they lost that team fight and the Roshan. Top lane. We'll get OIH. They want to start pushing in that T1 mid, T1 top tower. Flyby again, straight away, making use of that Helmet of Dominator and the Wolves he's got. Gonna have the Necro 3 very, very soon, well it seems. He's already got the recipe for the Necromonicon build, even though he hasn't actually got the Belt of Strength to finish it. But nevertheless, it's going to be a quick Necro 3.
Mid lane 1, 2, 3. He's trying to get some farm, but there is a Faceless Void behind him. Oh, this is Chrono.
Does run the right way. The T1 still ends up falling. Now a Blink Dagger as well, coming out onto XM, so he becomes a hell of a lot harder to catch. They haven't caught him yet once. Like, he's still 2-0. I don't know about this from the side of Eclipse. Like, they're holding on, but now it's quite quickly, it seems. Flyby now. The Necro one is up. Top tower being pushed in by the creep wave. As well as that Shining will get scanned out down at that ancient stack, the Radiant jungle. Yeah, it looks like they're getting set up for this tier 2 tower. They know that at least one hero was down in the Radiant jungle, and it probably was a core considering he was at the ancient stand. Now they found YYH as well, and he's gone, so there's your support Lich out of the picture. They'll TP up the Weaver. The rest are running up. Now mind you, they do have a Chrono available, but it needs to be a pretty nice one, it feels. XM coming in as well. Yagami Gucci out. Form used now the global silence as well. They've caught out the void. And there will be no chrono. In fact, this is going to be a full team wipe, it seems. They've caught the Weaver as well with that Centaur Stomp. Yagami, he will get out of there safely. But this tier 2 tower, not going to be so lucky. Now a 9-11, 4k net worth lead to the side of CDEC.
Perfectly timed global silence. No room for Eclipse to come back into this. And we're seeing this much pressure come out from them after the Aegis was stolen. Imagine how bad this would be for Eclipse if there was an Aegis on this Lycan.
Oh, I could only imagine. It would be terrible. Like, I have a feeling they wouldn't have stopped. They'd probably just keep going. Like, screw it. Make it happen. Bot lane. Gimme. Oh, he gets bursted. Shaker got the Impale off. In conjunction, the XM Tinker gets the job done. And XM, props to him on this Tinker. He's being very aggressive. He's not playing that passive push out every lane and farm game on the Tinker, but rather he is looking for pickoffs with his next assassin.
Just goes back to the strength of their draft. And you can hunt pretty much anyone, anywhere on the map with the wolves as well to provide that TP point.
Shaker will wait for his next vendetta. It's at that level 12 mark where he will have the second level, his ultimate. Although EU will spot out Shaker, yet they don't want to engage. Seconds away, here comes Tinker, perhaps they're baiting this out. Shaker gets jumped on immediately, though by Carapace, now the Impale as well. The Squid of Pain's in trouble. They'll use the Chain Frost, but they'll lose EU. So the pod score Nyx Assassin going down, but you lose your position to the quad. That is not a great trade. Now look at this, CDEC, they're smoking up. They're going in from behind, they found YYH, although he does pick up a haste rune. Very lucky for him. He actually might go down. No, he will smoke up to save himself, and he'll TP out of there. YYH actually getting tipped by Shaker. He respects that. Now
still though, that's a smoke committed to save your life.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't feel worthwhile, right? Like, it's a position 5 glitch. It's like, yeah, okay, you saved yourself, but now without that extra smoke, like, they need to kill the side of CDEC. That's the thing. They're the ones that need to be aggressive here.
Still have the chrono, of course, but just really haven't found the opportunity to use it. It just seems like there's so much more options for CDEC, and we saw that TP onto the summons from the Lycan there, and you're just all over the map.
Look at Shaker as well. He's found Shining. Shining knows about this. There is a Sentry Ward there. Now, oh, nice spot on Carapace before the Fiend's Grip comes out. In fact, he committed that Fiend's Grip. That Spike Carapace actually was used just as the animation finished. And so now that Fiend's Grip is actually on cooldown on the Bane.
And what better timing? There's a Necro free now on this Lycan. Lycan with Necro free, possibly one of the few heroes who can actually chase down the Weaver. So pretty much no one is safe.
Well, they do move again to that bot tower, or the bot lane. The tier 2 will be the target. That will be the second tier 2 of the game for the side of CDEC if they can pull this off. Mind you though, it goes back to the fact that there is a chrono available. Shining not really in a position to defend this.
If they blow a team fight and they use the chrono, it's pretty much game over. So this Lycan is going to shred through your freeze. So I don't really blame them for playing it safe, but this isn't how you win games. This is how you not lose games.
They even commit the Chain Frost to try and stop Flyby from pushing that tier 2 with, but he just micros these creeps away from each other. Very nice from him. Meanwhile, they're trying to go for a gank attempt on what looks like XM, but he just TPs out through the tree line. And now they ping that mid-tier 2 tower. This is surgical coming out of CDEC. I really feel like this is exactly how they need to be playing this matchup, and Eclipse seemingly not knowing how to react. How do they react in fact?
They either bet it all on a smoke into, I don't know, the biggest chrono of their lives, or they just try and turf football, move around the map, catch the Tinker. And they did try to catch the Tinker there, it just didn't really work out for them because they don't really have the heroes for it.
They are taking a tier 1. They're trying to trade, but XM going to be there with Shaker. Make sure this Weaver backs off a bit. In fact, Impale, is it going to make it in time? No, it won't. Okay, in fact, this is the shrine, but they're waiting for him. The Global Silence comes in. Oh no, he TPs. Was that even planned from CDEC?
Probably not. Out of the frying pan into the fire.
Why? They are pinging at that shrine. I think they're having a bit of a laugh about it on the side of CDEC. Gonna go for another push. EU. He moves forward. Shaker. Better wears off. You have a chance to impale.
I feel like at this point, if you're CDEC, you just wait for the next Roshan. You can easily solo it with the Ursa, so it's quite safe. You don't have to really worry about the chrono.
Speaking of, look at this Ursa. I mean, we haven't looked at 1-2-3 for a while, but he's got a full basher up. He's got the blink up. Like, he's going straight into the Vanguard next to try and fish the Abyssal. You could be so concerned if you're this co-op, right? Like, even if you don't, like, even if the Global Silence is misused, you've still got this Ursa that can just potentially bash you after the blink. Meanwhile, Flyby, he has this Dark Troll Summoner that can root him in place. I'll try to go for a little pick off onto right, and it looks like they will be able to. So the Silence are now down. They do smoke up as well. They want to go for more. And Flyby, he actually gets jumped on immediately though. Can they burst him down? The Ursa jumps into the backline. Sonic Wave committed. Now the Fiend Grip as well though. The Impale comes in from Shaker. And now these rockets coming in from this Tinker. It looks really bad to the side of Eclipse. They're trying their best, but they can't take anyone down. Shining, he has to get the hell out of there. XM now on a triple kill, and EU's the only one. In fact, he's on an ult kill now, XM. Oh my. And this could be a tier 3 tower.
There's honestly not too much to say about that. CDEC are just too far ahead. That's the what? Dagon 4? Dagon 3 on this Tinker? They've just got too much damage. It's not like Eclipse played poorly. They did pretty much all they could, but yeah, there's just not much to say about that. They even blew it back on the silencer, but he didn't have global silence available at the time. It's not like that made a difference.
Do you call this a complete outdraft then, or?
To a certain extent, yeah. I also want to say the lanes just didn't do nearly as well as they should have. I think if EU just had a better lane against the Tinker, as they intended, then, you know, it'd be a much closer game that have a lot more options, but as it is, I just don't really see what they do.
Free though, maybe overextending, although the rest of his team, they're there. Irola gets bursted. Now they get Shining as well. EU's down. They call GG. 24 minutes in. It's like you said, there's just nothing they can do to bring themselves back into this game. CDEC would literally have to run into the fountain over and over again to push this back, Eclipse's way. And that is one convincing win from CDEC. That's the best they've looked the whole tournament. See if they can really push it like this in game number 2, but Dinky, I've got to say, I'm very impressed. I was expecting a very boring game. Tinker, CDEC, they get very aggressive and they make it happen very quick.